Corey Day might be running out of room at Hendrick Motorsports. And that's a big deal for one of NASCAR's most talked about young talents. So what's really going on here, and where could he end up instead? Let's break it down. And hey, real quick, if you are a true NASCAR fan like me, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Nation news is just getting started. We are pushing for our next subscriber milestone, and it's all about real talk from fans who live this sport every week. All right, let's get into it. So here's where things stand. Corey Day could be blocked at Hendrick Motorsports moving forward. That's the headline, and it's a significant one for a driver who's been on a lot of people's radar. Why is that the case? Well, according to the report, Connor Zilisch is reportedly being labeled as the favorite to replace Alex Bowman in 2028. And if that ends up happening, there simply won't be any openings for Day in the NASCAR Cup Series at Hendrick. One seat, one favorite, and it's not Corey Day. That's the situation as it stands right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean the story ends there. The question becomes, could this rising NASCAR talent join a different Cup Series organization instead? And that's exactly where things start to get interesting. On an episode of Speed with Harvick and Buxton, Kevin Harvick actually name-dropped a possible Cup Series team for Day. This wasn't just speculation floating around online. This came directly from Harvick himself on the show. Here's what Harvick said. "We hear a lot of rumors that he could possibly go into a different car to get experience on the Cup side." Now think about that for a second. Rumors circulating about Day getting a shot in a different car, specifically to gain experience at the Cup level. That's a meaningful detail because it suggests this isn't just about waiting around for a seat to open up at Hendrick. It's about finding a path to Cup Series laps somewhere else entirely. Harvick continued saying, "It will be interesting to see if Corey Day is placed at Spire Motorsports or somewhere that he has the opportunity to get some laps and see if he's ready." So, there it is. Spire Motorsports mentioned directly as a possibility, and notice the phrasing there too. Get some laps and see if he's ready. That tells you this would be about proving himself at the Cup level, not necessarily a guaranteed long-term ride right out of the gate. Now, why does Spire Motorsports make sense as a landing spot? It's not just a random name being thrown out there. Spire Motorsports has a partnership with Hendrick Motorsports. That connection is what makes them an ideal landing spot for Day. Instead of a completely separate organization with no ties to Hendrick, Spire already has that relationship in place. So in theory, Day could still be connected to the Hendrick pipeline, just wearing a different uniform on race day. And here's another piece worth sitting with for a moment. If Day were to land at Spire Motorsports, he would join Carson Hocevar as long-term drivers for the organization. That's a real detail from the report, not speculation. Hocevar is already there, and Day joining him would mean Spire building out its driver lineup with two names tied to that Hendrick connection. So where does that leave things? Well, it remains to be seen if Zilisch to Hendrick Motorsports can actually get done. That move isn't confirmed. It's still being described as a reported situation, with Zilisch as the favorite, not a done deal. But here's the thing. Even with that uncertainty hanging over the Hendrick seat, Day to Spire Motorsports could be another domino in the future. That phrase, another domino, really captures what's going on here. One move potentially triggering the next, Zilisch possibly stepping into that Bowman seat, and Day possibly finding his own path over at Spire. Let's recap where things stand, because there's a lot here. Corey Day could be blocked at Hendrick because Zilisch is reportedly the favorite for the 2028 opening. Kevin Harvick pointed to Spire Motorsports as a possible destination for Day to gain Cup experience. Spire's partnership with Hendrick makes that connection make sense, and if it happens, Day would be racing alongside Carson Hocevar as a long-term Spire driver. Nothing here is locked in yet. Not the Zilisch move, and not a Day to Spire deal, but the pieces being talked about right now definitely paint a picture of where this could be heading. So here's my question for you. If Corey Day does end up at Spire Motorsports getting his Cup Series laps, do you think that sets him up to eventually land a top-tier ride down the road? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you're not already part of the crew, hit that subscribe button and join NASCAR Nation News. We'll keep bringing you the real talk on stories like this one. See you in the next video.